The Demon of Blue Lock, Shidou Ryusei. The perfect example of the many oddballs we see throughout the story of Blue Lock with God-given hacks and abilities. And in today's video, I'm going to be explaining on why Shidou Ryusei is my favorite character and debatably the best striker in the entire Blue Lock project. Disclaimer, this of course excludes everyone who isn't actually a part of the Blue Lock project, so characters like the world's best 5, Itoshi Sai, Kaiser, and just characters along that line. Now, apart from other great characters slash players like Kaiser or Itoshi Sai, who we see a lot in the main story of Blue Lock but aren't actually a part of the Blue Lock project, Ryusei Shidou is a character that just stuck out from the rest the moment you saw him, and throughout the story, begun to keep being different and unique from the other characters in many ways, from his cool ass character design all the way to his lewd dialogue. Shidou is just one of those side characters who appears a little later in the story and almost completely steals the show from the main cast every single time they're given any bit of screen time. In Blue Lock, we have a lot of those characters, don't get me wrong, like Rin or Nagi or Bachira or even Shigiri. But the thing with Shidou is that every time he's given the opportunity to, he completely breaks past the expectations of everyone every single time, showing us why he's just him. From his first appearance in the manga of Blue Lock all the way back in chapter 88, he's shown to be a complete smoke demon, injuring anyone who can't keep up with him and his explosions. And after he challenges Kunigami and Ryo to a match, with them ultimately accepting, we start to see why this demon was feared among the rest. In the 2v2 match between Kunigami and Ryo versus Shidou and Igaguri, we see Shidou shown to be especially fast, being able to sneak up on both Ryo and Kunigami almost unnoticed as he attempts to steal the ball. He's also shown to have an insanely high level of insight, being able to successfully identify others' main strengths and abilities off of a first glance, like he did with Kunigami and Ryo, with describing Ryo as a little purple bun who has overall high specs but are tediously balanced, and the Mr. Hero who only thinks about his left power shot. Speed, insight, strength, it really seems like this demon of a player has it all, making us think that for someone so overpowered, he has to have something equally dangerous for a weakness, right? Well, unless you count his low probability to work with anyone else but the best like Itoshi Sai, he literally doesn't have one, as we see him score an insane bicey from a little outside the box in the same match. Now, the fields for the second selection arc are smaller than what an actual field is supposed to be like, but considering the position he was in before he got the ball, having to turn around and all, really just made this goal seem flat out impossible as most would describe it as. This guy Shidou not only carried someone like Igaguri and probably the rest of his team to the top single-handedly, but also single-handedly sank Kunigami on his merry way to the wild card. Shidou's ideology of football is also something pretty intriguing to me. While reading Blue Lock, you see a lot of players and what exactly makes their kind of football their own, like with Baro and how he plays as the role as the king and for everyone else around him to be his loyal subjects when playing football, or someone like Rin who solely plays to become #1 in order to crush his brother Itoshi Sai. But with Shidou, we get something a lot different. In chapter 130 of Blue Lock, we learn more about Shidou's kind of football, being that all human beings want to leave proof of their existence. Artists that want to create things to actors who want to become stars, to even the most basic way of doing so, through making children. But for Shidou, football happens to be that thing that helps him leave proof of his existence, as he explains that a goal to him is fertilization, the shot is the seed, and the net being the egg, and the pleasure from that birth is what he refers to as explosions. Yeah, I know, a very odd way of going about it, but that's what makes it so interesting. Shidou doesn't even think about football as a sport. In fact, he thinks of it as a biological phenomenon, as he uses all of his being and cells to score goals. Which really makes sense when you think about Shidou's overall playing style and how he relies on his instinct and intuition rather than relying on stuff like formations or tactics. It also explains how Shidou is able to make impossible goals seem possible, being that to someone who relies on formation and tactics, what Shidou does seems to be impossible logically. But being that logic doesn't seem to be in Shidou's vocabulary, he's able to make his ideas a reality. When Shidou achieved the flow state back in chapter 130 of the manga, it was no doubt an extremely hype moment. Me personally, it checked off as a top 5 moment in the entire series, maybe even top 3. But right now, I'm going to quickly go through this amazing moment from panel to panel, explaining it. After Shidou explains his philosophy of football, we see Gagamaru telling everyone to push upfield as he's about to blast the ball, and as he drop kicks the ball, we see none other than Itoshi Sai intercept the ball before both Nagi and Hayate could get to it. And in that insane moment, we see him make an insane cross towards the direction of Shidou, also shown to be giving Shidou a second chance. It was also indicated that Itoshi Sai was the first and only player so far to understand Shidou and his philosophy of football. As this ball is making its way, we see Shidou the first one to move by reflex to this counter, but unfortunately Gagamaru decided to leave the penalty area in an attempt to clear the ball. And as he successfully headbutts the ball and it's in the air, Shidou thinks that he has to restart his attack all over again. But in that moment, he feels something strange, a powerful sensation. With his back against the goal from outside the penalty area, he states that he can still feel the goal with his back as if it was right next to him. And as all of his cells are telling him to score a super goal in that moment, he proceeds to do just that as he hits an insane bicycle kick from outside the penalty area. Seem familiar? Yeah, this goal was pretty much based off of Zlatan's goal back in 2012 against England. This goal and this moment in general was pure insanity to even a reader like me who at the time had almost no football knowledge in the slightest. Overall, Shidou, from the moment we got introduced to him and his first goal all the way to the most recent goal we've seen from him, at least being from the U20 goal, already makes him a top tier character and overall a top tier Blue Lock player, at least in my books. And I cannot wait to see his development and overall what he's gone through during the Neo Egoist League arc. Cause I don't know about you, but I have a feeling that Shidou is about to make an insane goal once again. But with that, if you enjoyed this video on why Ryusei Shidou is one of my favorite characters in Blue Lock right now, aside from people like Kaiser and Itoshi Sai, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment down below what other Blue Lock related things should I talk about on my channel next. And without further ado, I hope you guys have a great day and see ya.